Thank you for joining us here this evening at the wonderful Exchange Theatre here in North Shields. My name is Carl Kennedy. I'll be the host and compere for this evening. I'll be presenting questions to the Mayor and guiding the proceedings for the evening. We have been presenting Mayor's Question Time for quite a while now. We started in the world BC, the world before COVID. I don't know if anyone remembers what that world was like. We used to be able to gather in rooms like this, and now we're back to a world where we can, so that's great. During the pandemic, during the worst parts of the pandemic, of course, we took Mayor's Question Time online and presented it on the internet, which was great that we didn't have to stop presenting this access to information that the Mayor's very keen on. We were supposed to be having this very Mayor's Question Time here at this theatre in March, but that wasn't possible because Jamie Driscoll got himself a dose of the COVID. So we'll talk to him about that in a moment. But without much further ado, just so you know the kind of format, we have been presented, well, the Mayor's been presented with questions from lots of different media, online submissions of questions through websites like Nextdoor and, of course, through the Combined Authorities website. The Mayor gets presented with a lot of questions in person, as I'm sure you can appreciate. So gathering all of those different questions from all of those sources, we've got some representative questions. Some of those questioners are in the room with us this evening and they will ask those questions. Some of them will be watching, we hope, online, and I'll be presenting those questions for those folks that can't be here in the room. So please welcome to the stage for Mayor's Question Time, the North of Tyne Combined Authority Mayor, Jamie Driscoll.
Hello, Jamie. How are you?
Good to see you. Let's take a seat. It's Jamie. I know you don't mind calling you Jamie, but you like to be called Jamie. You don't stand on that kind of ceremony, do you? How are you? Things all right?
Not so bad.
Yeah, busy.
Getting stuff done.
You're always busy though, right?
That never changes. Yeah, it's an occupational hazard.
And so we were supposed to be here at this theatre in March, and we couldn't do it because of a certain little bug that you caught.
I did. I got COVID for the second time.
Right.
I got it for the first time before it was fashionable, way back in February 2020, before lockdowns. I wasn't even sure what it was.
Right.
Had all my jabs and nevertheless got it again in March.
Was it a bad dose?
It is a serious disease. You know, we shouldn't underestimate this. We're not through it. We're going to have to live with it in different ways.
Indeed.
But I was wiped out, lying there, sweating, shivering, and desperately trying to make various events that were on that I had to do, and it took the team to say, "Stop it! You're infectious. Stay at home."
Yeah. Don't do the follow the advice. We've been following the advice for all this time, and of course, I know that the theatre and everyone involved in putting these events together, they were fantastic in March.
Yeah.
They really were understanding, because of course, almost in a post-pandemic, post-COVID world, people appreciate that things need to plans need to alter. Things need to change if someone does have a case of COVID and all those kinds of things.
I think it's interesting. The effects of that are going to take place as a social change, a societal change, for quite a period of time. If we think about the financial crash, 2007, 2008, it wasn't until a couple of years later that we had the Occupy movement. We had any major politician saying, why do we need austerity? Surely if we've got a financial crisis, we should be investing in things and not cutting things so that services crumble and people end up in debt. So it can take a long time. And I was talking to a lot of the business organisations, which I do, you know, the CBI, Chamber of Commerce, Federation of Small Businesses. And they were saying that on climate change, for example, that in the run-up to COP last year, the government's everybody must be green. There's been nothing since. And they were saying, but all our members are still doing it. They get it. And by the way, they're all much more community focused. The businesses are much more supportive of workers, of their mental health, physical health, well-being. Not universal. There are still some bad employees out there, but there is that bit of a shift. And people's priorities have changed. And I think that's something, that's one area of optimism.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad stuff in the world.
So it's a paradigm in kind of business rather than government leading. There's a paradigm in business, and business leadership is taking over that position.
Yeah. Businesses, charities, public sector, people, citizens.
Yeah. So we've got lots of questions to get through this evening, Jamie. They've been presented. There's a fantastic website that we just wanted to make everyone aware of, those watching at home, on the internet, wherever you are, and those here in the room, that there's a fantastic new resource. I don't know how new it is, but it's called Next Door. And it's great because it links you to your local community, wherever your local community is. So it's an online resource, and you can go on there and you can link up with other members of your local community, ask questions, find answers to those questions, and so on. And that's where some of the questions have been presented tonight. And I think this is a really useful thing for local communities to, get themselves together, organise themselves, and as we know, we love a bit of activism, don't we?
Oh, yes.
So that's a great thing.